Yes. Welcome to Dimbala Afrique, whereby this is Afrique 24 TP, whereby we always give you the best when it comes to football, politics, and all matters that concerns human beings. Human beings are the major occupants in this planet. So today we know that every weekend we have this Dimbala Afrique, whereby I am your host and I have several guests in my studio today. So I think today is going to be on fire. And we know that football is one of the things that makes people to enjoy when it comes to a weekend. You cannot have a weekend without football. Football is there so that you can relax, you can watch. And we know that Kenya is one of the countries that love football and all matters concerning sports. Here in Dimbala Afrique today, we are going to focus with many things which concerns football. We're going to focus with Kenya Premier League, that is FKF. We know what is happening in our country when it comes to sports. We are going to focus with Europa, whereby European countries are there to compete for the Europa. We also have the conference. We also have the UEFA Champions League that is going to take place in this month of April. We also have one of the most wanted, one of the most precious Premier Leagues in UK. I think people from Kenya and all parts of the world love what we call EPL, that is the English Premier League, to take place today. It is towards the end of the league. Now we are in the game number 31. We know that when it is towards the end of the league, a lot of things happen there. There is no small teams there. Anytime you're meeting any small team in the Premier League, it is not easy as I thought, because every team want to remain in the Premier League. You know that some teams are there struggling to remain. Others now want to win the Premier League for the first time in the span of 20 years. We know that things are going to happen, and we saw what happened in the midweek. There was some magic that happened in the midweek, and I'm very sure we are going to get a lot of things in this Dimbal Afrique. I welcome you, because in Dimbal Afrique, this is where we give you the best analytics when it comes to football and all matters that concerns sports industry. As I play this montage here, yes, and in the studio today, I am joined by uh, one of the football analytics. He's in sports, he's in politics, everywhere is there, Honorable Vincent, and I'm very sure today we're going to discuss a lot of things. I want to welcome Honorable Vincent, so that I'm not going to call you Honorable, because here is matters of sports. I think you will give me another name so that I can give yours today, so that I can be calling you, because we are here in the sports, and I'm very sure we are going to get a lot of discussion when it comes to sports. I welcome you wherever you're watching, in YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Here we are live, and every time make sure you make a date and sure that you are with us, because here we give you the best. Honorable Vince, I'm not calling you Honorable. I welcome you, Vincent, so that you can give us the name that we're going to call you as we pioneer our sports show today.
Yes, Bonnie. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, how are you, people? How are you, people? Most of you are used to me being a political analyst, and I want to confirm today that I have been a staunch supporter of Chelsea since I was in class 3. And today I'm going to take the name teacher, because that's the name I was given since I was in high school. I teach a lot of things, and in sports I prefer to use teacher official, because that's the name that I prefer to be called as a nickname. Besides Honorable Vincent, that is an official name that I use when I'm doing podcasts or interviews of political stuff. So today we are going to debunk a lot of things. And guys, stay tuned. Today I'm going to give you a sure bet. I think I am going to give around 5 odds for those people who stick to the end. And I'm sure if you bet and put a good stake there, you're going to get some good returns afterwards. So join us. Let's begin this interview. Let's begin this podcast and let's analyze these sports. Let's get entertained, and I hope we will have a good time here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vincent. And I'm very sure that we are going to talk more when it comes to football and sports. And to start with, I can see that we know that Kenya Premier League, we are going to start from the grassroots. You know that Kenya Premier League is one of the leagues that we have in our country. And despite what is happening in our country, we know that things are not in the line whereby we have a lot of ministries whereby things are not aligning in the way people are expected to see. But again, we know that FKF is one of the leagues that people use so that they can be identified by the European countries. We know that things now are there. We know that it was like a week ago that Kenya Premier League, that is the FKF, was given a notice by the FIFA all the way from Zurich, Switzerland, that if they are not going to have the HGM, definitely they are going to be banned from the AFCON that is going to take place in 2027. And if we are banned, then we will lose that Pamoja bid, because we know that we have the Pamoja bid that is going to take place in 2027, whereby Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania are going to have this AFCON, and they are going to host, because there was that agreement that was taking place in some months ago that Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania are going to host. And we know that if we are banned, then definitely it will be an advantage for Samia Suluhu and Benja and Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So FKF, Nicky Mwendwa, and the entire team, they faced that threat from the FIFA. And we know that FIFA is not a joke. Sometimes back in 2018, we were banned by the FIFA. And after some continuous discussions, they freed our sports and the entire FKF. So are we going to be banned again? And Mr. Vincent, as I asked you, what do you say about this? Because we know that if you're banned, then definitely there'll be a major, there will be a big disadvantage, because if we are not hosting this AFCON, then we have never hosted AFCON. It has been there, countries have been there. We saw what happened in Ivory Coast, that is the month of January and February, whereby there was some magic that we were experienced there. Some small teams, small countries such as Cape, small countries such as Angola, small countries such as DRC Congo, they maneuvered their ways until they went to even semi-finals and also quarterfinals. We saw what happened to South Africa. And South Africa, we know it hosted the Africa, that is the World Cup. It is not easy to host World Cup. You need to be developed country. You need to be having those qualities. You need to be having those development. You need to be having the best infrastructure, the best amenities. That is the other amenities, because this is a worldwide event that is taking place. So you need to have those development. So we are having this situation whereby the FKF is not having this AGM. What do you say about this ban? If we get this ban from FIFA, what are some of the things that are going to be expected, and what are the challenges that we are going to face if we are banned by the FIFA from hosting the AFCON and also taking place in these activities that involve international competition?
First of all, Bonnie, let me let me say that it's very, very unfortunate that we've been having problems with FIFA for years. That's why our football is one of the worst. The local football is not my area of specialty, but I understand this country very, very well. That's why I usually say that in every parastato and in everything that happens in this country, there's politics going around everything. And the other day, you even saw Babu Namwamba say that there are cartels in the football industry that are trying to sabotage everything they are doing. And let me tell you today that this AFCON bid that William Ruto made sure that the country got so that we host FIFA African Cup of Nations in 2027. And someone from some forest, I don't know who, is trying to sabotage everything that he's worked to make sure that we get that honor and we get that chance to host one of the biggest tournaments in Africa that is obviously being watched by even the people in the UK. And someone wants to sabotage that. We are not going to let that happen. I'm sure even the team that leads the sports in his government, led by Ababu Namwamba, is not going to let that happen. That's why even when you had during the campaigns back then, allow me to just touch on politics and then touch on the sports in the politics in the sport. The last time when the president was campaigning, he promised that when he gets elected, he's going to make sure that FIFA lifts the ban that we got in 2018. And exactly to his word, he made sure that the ban was lifted. That's what happened about a week ago, and about a year ago now. So if if it continues like that, then FIFA is not going to be the body that chairs the KPL or the FIFA Kenya team is going to be problematic because I don't think they are doing the right thing as per the wishes of the president, and they are not doing well as per the wishes of Kenyans, because the talents in football are so many in Kenya. Only that noticing those talents is becoming a problem because the cartels in that sports industry are focusing on siphoning money from FIFA and siphoning money from taxpayers' money and siphoning money from the fans that work hard to support these clubs. So I think all these shenanigans you heard that we are going to be banned. Let me tell you, one thing I'm very sure: if William Ruto has to sacrifice someone, let him sacrifice this Nick Mwendo guy, because this guy has been a problem. He's the cartel in this industry of sports. That's why we don't even prosper in football. You saw what happened about a year ago, and the footballers were delayed to sijui walilala wapi, sijui walikosa kitanda ya kulala. They even arrived late at the venue of football. So I think if Nick Mwendo was to be removed so that the problems that we have in Kenya, in the Kenyan sports industry ends, then so be it. Because I don't think we need that guy. Eh? And another thing, Mr. Boni, let me tell you that if we are to lose the bid again that we've fought for until now, we are even preparing stadiums to host AFCON 2027, and we lose that now, I think it's going to be a problem to even the president himself. The people are going to retaliate to the president, and they are going to tell him, why haven't you done something? You see, that's why the president has to do something, even if it means removing those people who are sabotaging FIFA, because I don't think it's the players who are having the problem. The problems are not.
But Vincent, here president cannot even know what is happening, because the work of the president when it comes to sports now is to align, whereby he gave CS Ababu Namwamba this authority. Now it is the idea that Ababu Namwamba that brings that is going to help this country, because president is busy, and after giving the CS the work, then it's the work of the CS to make sure that his ministry is doing on well. So what I can say is that we need to align things with Ababu Namwamba, and when it comes to Ababu Namwamba,
the buck stops at the president, my friend. Let me tell you, when you are elected president, the first thing you do is you take over the country. Everything that runs in this country must pass through you, no matter who you employ to do something somewhere. So this buck will stop at the president. If we are to be banned again, it will go back to the Kenya Kwanza government. It's not going to go to Ababu Namwamba as an individual, because Ababu Namwamba can be sacked tomorrow and some other guy is positioned in that seat. So we can blame the person who is at the head. So that's why the president is personally going to step in and give directions and try to also negotiate the way he did with FIFA last time. So I think this issue of getting banned and this issue of retaliation by FIFA and the problems that I don't understand is going to be easier if the president steps in. That's why I want to plead and urge the CS for sports to not only focus on building stadiums, but to make sure that the problems that we've been having and what the players are saying must be taken to account if we are to solve this problem once and for all. Because number one, if we build the stadiums and we don't have the players who are going to play in those stadiums, that's like an exercise in futility. We don't have a system that has no people to support it. We must start empowering talent from now if we are going to compete in AFCON, because you see teams like Senegal and teams like the former winner Ivory Coast, the team that came from nowhere and still won the AFCON. For us to contest and win as hosts, we need a lot. We don't need just the goodwill of anyone. We
Okay.
need to also, as players, jump in, and as fans and as Kenyans, to also jump in and have our voice being heard.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we are going to see what will happen when it comes to president and also the CS. And I know that president has been on the front line to make sure that this country's sports is on the highest order, because we saw what happened when it came to athlete Kevin Kiptum, who passed on through a greasy road accident, and the president assured him, they assured those people who were in those athletics that he's going to support them. He supported them, he gave them the money, and also we saw he has been supporting people who are doing well and flying high this country flag, because Ferdinand Omanyala has been awarded there, Faith has been awarded, and the president is doing everything to make sure that our country sports industry is on top notch, because we saw him launching the Talanta Hela Stadium, and we know that through the Talanta Hela, he is going to make him one of the best president, because we saw the kind of things he did when he was launching the Talanta Ella. He did press ups, and a lot of Kenyans were impressed by how president was so strong that he can even take up to 15 press ups, and that is a good job that president is doing, and the entire CS. But the problem now is if we are going to be banned by FIFA, if FIFA bans us from hosting the AFCON 2027, there will be a big problem. Because number one, this FKF, where we have the FKF Premier League, we have Gor Mahia, we have the FC Leopards, we have the Kariobangi Sharks, we have KCB, Moroni, we have a lot of teams, and also we have the Division 1. Here in FKF, it is whereby we are going to bring a lot of talent, because it is through the FKF that we are going to make those players play in Harambee Stars, and because every player, it is a dream of every player to play in national team. That is the Harambee Stars. And if they play in the Harambee Stars, then definitely they are going to be identified by the other countries. Someone will be identified, for example, Benson Omala, for example, James Ogola is going to be identified by Tanzania, is going to be poached by Simpa, Yanga. Someone is going to be taken by clubs in West Africa, teams in South Africa. They are going to identify, because through international competition, whereby we have the Harambee Stars, then definitely we are going to help those talents who want to join international countries. Because if we are banned, then it will be a disadvantage to those teams, because we will not play, we will not have those AFCON. And we know that this AFCON, if it comes to Kenya, will have a lot of advantages. Number one, our restaurants are going to get a lot of money. We are going to get a lot of money, and this money will be useful to our country. So I think Nick Mwendwa is going to take a lot of initiatives so that he can make sure that our country is not banned from FIFA. This AGM needs to take place immediately, because if it takes place, then we are going to be assured that we are going to be there in AFCON 2027. The problem was these FIFA representatives, they were sent from Zurich, Switzerland. And when they came, there was no annual general meeting. So that was the problem, and I'm very sure that if FKF we are going to fail again, then definitely we are going to be banned. So we know that teams have been there, but I want us to focus with how is the performance of some Premier League teams. You know, Gor Mahia has been there, AFC Leopards have been there, Tusk has been there. Some of the big clubs in FKF have been there. But what it is happening? Are we changing this club to be this competition that is the FKF to be for Gor Mahia? Because Gor Mahia has been taking this league for a long time. What can you say about the performance of FKF, Vince?
Generally, the Kenyan Premier League is very okay. Let me call it a boring league because uh, it does not attract the support that it's supposed to attract. The way we usually see the UK support their local teams. You know, in UK there are people who've made it an hobby to be football fans and football journalists. There are even local TV stations that are purely football coverage. They cover football content from morning to evening. There are several YouTubers who do football content from Monday to Monday. They even go up to midnight to analyze football, to predict, to give us transfer news, to give us football news. In UK, football runs the economy, you see. But in our country, it's vice versa. In our country, football is draining our economy because number one, when you see the players, the football, for example, a match between Gor Mahia and FC Leopards, those two teams, they end up destroying a stadium that has been built using a lot of money, and the government, instead of supporting them, now they ban the fans from even attending the game. And you know that the fans are the people who run football. They are the people who fund football activities, you see. So in Kenya, we have a problem, not from the government side, not from the football side, but we have a general problem in the sports industry because we don't value sports as one art that can also bring an income, can also generate income, can can empower people, can give people jobs who are idle. In Kenya, we don't take football seriously. That's why I can tell you, in the past 2 years, Kisii, let me use the word Kisii, Abagusi demonstrated that football can be a unifier factor if we let it be a unifier factor. You saw how the people used to turn out in big numbers to support Shabana in the previous when they were in the National Super League. That's the spirit that we need as people. Even if we have to divide ourselves in tribal lines to support our football clubs, let it be. Because, for example, in our stadium, there's a time I think we were having a match, and the former prime minister was attending, and we were told not to pay even a shilling because Raila is coming to give them about 1 million and Simbarati to give them 5. We have a problem in football because as the same as it in other sports, we all rely on politicians' will to run our football industry. Wakisi decided that we will run our football independently. That's why we used to turn up in good numbers. We used to pay up to 300 shillings. If VIP used to pay even up 500 shillings to try and support Shabana so that we regain the pride that we used to have in the early 2000s. But what happened when we were prospering? The politicians and those cartels that who ruined Shabana before came out and started again doing the same thing and ruining again the support that the fans had built. They started dividing us in lines of the tribal lines. Because personally, I'm a UDA person, and I am sorry to say that to those people who are listening to us who are not political, but as a UDA person, if someone from ODM comes and give all the players uniforms written his name on the back, that Honorable Simba Arati, governor, I don't know what. As a fan, I will feel hurt and I will feel betrayed because I've come to support this team not as a political party, but as a person, as an individual who is going to get money from my pocket and use my voice to shout hard so that they can feel that confidence. You see, but we have a problem in this country because even the football teams are playing so that they can attract the support of the politicians. You saw the other day the I don't know this team from Western. I don't know, is FC Leopards, which was celebrating 60 years. They went to the to State House to invite the president to come and contribute to them. You see, and the president gave them a good money. And now you will see another team again trying to do the same thing, recreating at 20 years anniversary, so that they can come and also invite the president, so that they can also make money. Football has become something of these rich elites, these people who run clubs, these boards that run clubs, to siphon money from government instead of building the teams, building this. Even if I were, maybe for example, let me use a team like Gor Mahia that has established itself. This team gets a lot of income, both from Kenya and the external support from the well wishers. These people could have been working so hard to build their own stadium so that they can be a private club, so that for you to even go to watch a game in their stadium, you paying knowing that this money is not going to someone else's pocket. It's going to the board that runs the club and the activities of the club. But what happens in Kenya? We have to hire a stadium. For example, if you are playing in Raila Odinga Stadium in Homa Bay, you have to pay, I don't know how much, the money that even the players, I'm told that some players are given 4,000 per week to play football. I can even choose to gamble and play a theater to make that 4,000 every week, instead of wasting my time going to the pitch to play and get 4,000, while the pitch owners are being given about, I don't know, 50,000 to give you a playground to play. If our football teams themselves were to be serious, they could be gathering funds and trying as much as possible to build their own field, because it's not that expensive. You don't have to build it in a place that is overpopulated. For example, the Gor Mahia funds are mostly situated in Nairobi and Luo Nyanza. So if they are to look at which funds, where can we put our stadium so that we get a balanced ground, where we can get a diverse support, they can build it in Nairobi if they have to. They can build it towards that river, towards Ngong. You see where the funds can get, or they can build it in Nyanza, so that they stop using these county build environments. So they are dictated when to use them. For example, right now I can tell you our stadium here in Kisii County, it's being used as an office of the governor. It's not running any activities of sport that it's intended to do. It's an office of the governor. Imagine that. Imagine a shame that a governor runs his activities from a stadium that is supposed to be used by Shabana to play as an home ground. Right now, we are using, I was told that we are using a stadium, I don't know, from Machakos. So even the fans cannot travel from Kisii to Machakos every Saturday to go. Today we have a game with Posta Rangers, and our home ground is in Machakos. How am I going to travel from Kisii to Machakos to watch a game in Machakos? Really?
I get
Eh?
you. I get you. I get you. I get you, Mr. Vincent. And what I can get from your point is that we need to take away politics from sports industry. We need to make sure that this is a neutral ground whereby
Yes.
people who are involved in politics are not anymore involved in sports, because they are going to ruin, they're going to make the sports industry go low. We need to have a specific people who are always keen on what is going on in sports, because if they bring on politics in sports, then some people are going to be affected, and we know that politics is differently from what is involved in sports industry. So what I can say is that politics should be kept away, and we need to focus with the sports in our country, because I saw what happened in Nyayo National Stadium, whereby AFC Leopards were celebrating 60 years. A lot of leaders were there, and I saw even the president himself there. He was invited to attend that meeting and the celebrations, and a lot of leaders were there. I saw even Simba Arati. I saw Edwin Sifuna. I saw a lot of leaders who are in politics. But again, it is good they took place, because that was a sign of support to the sports industry. But again, when it comes to politics, they need to keep away and make sure that we don't have politics in our sports industry. Here, I'm joined by one not like Omasanya. I welcome you to this sports show. Give your remarks in our today's show. I think he is not hearing us well, but again, I'm very sure that he's going to get back. So what I can say is that our president is there and he has the best plans. I want to show you the proposed Talanda Hela Stadium. It's like we are going to get the best, and if we get one of the best field and the stadiums like this proposed one, then we are going to be a better country. In Tanzania, they have Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, and I have seen what is happening in Tanzania, and the support from Mama Samia Suluhu is one of the top notch. Because yesterday I saw even the tweet from after the Simba were defeated by Al Ali, and that was a great support, because even if he is busy with the country, he has the support from in the sports industry, and that is good. And we know Uganda, Museveni is ready. He was fighting even to be hosting the AFCON 2027 alone. He didn't want that Pamoja bid. And Museveni has always been there, so that he wants to monopolize every opportunity that comes through. But again, he was denied.
Bonnie, let me say something about that. There's something you said there I had forgotten. You know, hosting AFCON or hosting such a big event takes a lot of organization. It takes a lot of logistics. In Uganda, even the transport system there cannot allow them to host 50,000 fans who drive. They cannot even, the traffic will be mad. Let me tell you, because I'm not demeaning Uganda, but I'm saying I don't feel like this hosting over 11 or how many teams will participate in AFCON?
Of course, we have a lot of teams. They are 32, and they come to reduce up to 16, 8, 4, 2.
So only 32 teams.
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's true. International. That's true. International. Because
so
if we
imagine
have
you are hosting
Nigeria,
fans.
we have Ivory Coast. So those
imagine you are
citizens
hosting.
from those countries are going to come.
Yes, you saw what happened in Ivory Coast. The fans from Nigeria and Senegal are the best fans we have, and South Africa. Those are the best fans we have seen, and Cameroon. Those are the best fans. They come in good numbers. Even sometimes the government, especially those Senegal fans that wear colors everywhere, their bodies. Those fans are sponsored by government. Wherever there is a game of Senegal, they go. So if you are going to host such kind of people, number one, you have to think about the accommodation, because the tourism industry and the hotel industry in Uganda cannot beat Kenya, even if they were to develop for 10 years. You see? So Kenya is not a selfish country. And I want to commend our president for that. The president saw that opportunity as one way of unifying East Africa. And he said that if we are to host this AFCON as Kenya, we are going to have a problem, because we have not yet built enough infrastructure. Not the infrastructure that will to host the game. No, the infrastructure of hosting such number of people in a country. Because if we are to host
But
those 32 countries and
I want to
citizens,
ask
let
you
me tell you.
a question. I want to ask you a question, Mr. Vincent. Do you think Kenya is able to even host the opening for AFCON, that is 2027,
Yes.
alone?
Let me tell you, even the finals, we are supposed to host the opening ceremony and even the finals, semis and finals, because I think as far as I'm concerned, even those people from West Africa are excited to even come to Kenya, not to other countries. They want to come to Kenya. They want to see Kenya. This thing that we call the magical Kenya. If we are to build this Talanta City Stadium, we are going to have a very big, a 60,000 capacity stadium that is going to have the requisite requirements that FIFA allows us to use as a standard stadium, that will have those lights that creates those animations. We have the standard let me say, the standard production team will be given a contract to make such an entertaining opening. You've seen our national events and compare them to other countries. When we are having a national celebration, sometimes I usually imagine that if we were to have technology and that could make the stadiums go dim during those entertainment times. You know, sometimes in those national celebrations, we have 30 minutes entertainment that is always very marvelous. Most of the people go to the stadiums to watch that entertainment. You see, that is going to, that's Kenya. Kenya understands what the international community does, and we have copied mostly from the international community, the UK and the American culture. That's why I prefer that we Kenya host, and I think we are going to host the opening ceremony and the semi-finals and the finals and the closing ceremony. Those are going to be in Kenya. You see?
Do we have in Nairobi, for example, in Nairobi we have Nyayo National Stadiums, we have the Ulinzi complex, we have this proposed Talanta Hela that is going to be constructed before 2027, and we have some other grounds that are going to be renovated when it comes to AFCON 2027 in Nairobi. Where do you think we can have this opening match? And you know that it's going to have a lot of people.
You know, Talanta, let me tell you. You know, you've not seen the structure of Talanta City. Talanta City Stadium is not just
I want
a stadium.
You to see this is the proposed Talanta Ella Stadium.
Yeah, this Talanta Stadium. You see, this Talanta Stadium is just a structure of the stadium, but there are things that are going to be built outside. The accommodation, the hotels, the cafe. You see, this thing is being built with the screens even outside. If you want you can't get an opportunity to get into a stadium, because I don't think there's a stadium that in Africa that can beat the Camp Nou's. There's no big stadium more than 60,000. Let me say the maximum can be about 71,000, and I don't know if it's South Africa or
no, we have the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium. We have the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium that hosts up to 57.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Talanta Stadium is going to host around 60,000 people, and that is the number of the people that can be in a stadium at a particular time. And 60,000 people are so many for the start, and for the host team to do opening ceremony, unless they want to do the 3 opening ceremonies at the same time, which cannot happen.
Okay. Again and again, how about the hotels and the restaurants? Do we have sufficient hotels in Nairobi to host, for example, those countries?
We have VIP. Let me tell you, we have VIP. Even the last week, the president opened JW Marriott, which is going to be a 5-star hotel that is going to host the VIP and the VVIP presidents that will come, maybe the dignitaries from FIFA that come and sleep in such big hotels. We have Hotel Kimpiski, we have Hotel Hilton Hotel that was closed. It can be opened in those 5 years if the government finds a private investor to invest in such kind of an hotel. We have places like Intercontinental Hotel. We have Airbnbs in Nairobi that are more than 20,000 now. The affordable housing plan that is being made, most of those houses are going to be used as Airbnbs. If you have money, I tell you, my friend, you can also start investing now and make sure you put your money in the Airbnb business in Nairobi, because that's going to be an income in the future, and it's going to be bigger than hotels that we have in Nairobi. We can host the small class funds from those people who don't need to sleep in big hotels. Those we can accommodate in the lodgings and the small restaurants in Nairobi. We have the infrastructure. You know, one thing I consider that we need is the roads, because moving the people is the problem. Because the people will be most of the cars and the vehicles and the transport industry is going to be there's going to be a jam if we don't invest in our infrastructure. And you can't compare Kenya with other countries in terms of infrastructure in that sector. And we can see we have a very, very reliable source of energy, especially the electricity that we have in Kenya. We need that power throughout the game. You know, you heard what happened in Tanzania about 2 weeks ago. There was blackout for over 9 hours.
all over the country. Of course, in Kenya, sometimes it happens when there's a lot of rains, but we know that it's something that we can do. And to compare us with Tanzania, maybe because Tanzania are ahead of us in terms of football, not in terms of the infrastructural capabilities. That's why we are even rushing to build this stadium in time, so that when it comes to 2027, we get enough stadiums. We have, you said we have Kasarani, we have Nyayo, and we have Talanta Stadium. Those three stadiums are enough for us to host 3 matches. We will use Benjamin Mkapa, and maybe there is one in Kampala. Those are 5 stadiums that can help make the Nini go swiftly. Because there is one thing that we forget: the training grounds before you join the pitch. Those are the things that we need to talk about, because I'm sure now Kisumu Stadium, Bukungu Stadium, and Eldoret Stadium, they're going to be used as training grounds, so that because they are accessible to airports. You see, the players can be playing in Nairobi and then fly down to Bukungu Stadium as their home training ground. You see, and preparation grounds, and that's why I'm telling you, the hoteliers in Kakamega, the hoteliers in Kisumu, the hoteliers in Eldoret should invest and do a good job, so that they can get that reception of big names.
I get you, Honorable Vincent, and I'm very sure that it is going to be tough come 2027, because we need to prepare early, and we also have the Dadora Stadium that is being proposed there. I think we are
Yeah.
going to have a lot of things that are taking place before 2027, because if we are going to fail as a country, then FIFA, of course, is going to send some representatives to come to Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And if they come, then they are going to tour and see the kind of stadiums that we are having, the kind of hotels, restaurant. Because any country now, do we need to have also the security? We need to have the security for the players and those countries, because a lot of people are going to come into the country, and that is going to show us that we need to improve in every dimension that involves those countries that are going to come here. Because if we make a mistake, then definitely the mistake is going to cost us for even centuries. We need to be keen on what we are doing, because AFCON is not a easy competition. We saw Ivory Coast was hosting it alone without even involving other countries. Do you think we saw the Conan Bali Stadium that is in Ivory Coast? It almost took some of the countries to be hosting the matches there, because it hosted the opening, the semis, and also the finals. The Kolibali
You know,
Stadium in Ivory Coast was one of the best. Do you think Kenya can host AFCON alone without involving
yes.
Kenya, without involving East Africa countries?
How many stadiums do we need? We need around 5 to host AFCON. Right now we have around 2 big stadiums, and maybe Nyayo, if Nyayo is done, if face uplift is done to Nyayo, that's going to be our 3rd stadium. And if they be serious and build one stadium in either Kisumu or in Western, where we have access to where we have access to air industry, the airports, and maybe the transport system. Because from Western to Uganda, you can use a matatu. You see, you can use a car bus, or you can use your personal car. So the fans who are in Uganda can even sleep in Kenya and watch a game in Western. So I think in Kenya we have everything that is needed. The only difference between Kenya and Ivory Coast is that Ivory Coast invested in football from the back times, when the likes of Kina Drogba were players. Those kind of names motivate even the country to invest in the infrastructure of
But
sports.
but but
Because
but Vincent, you cannot compare the kind of development we have in Ivory Coast and Kenya. Ivory Coast is far away in terms of development.
that's what I'm saying. In Ivory Coast, there are things they got right because they believed in their talents. They nurtured their talents. And in Kenya we've had big names like Wanyama, but what happened to Wanyama? Wanyama, when Wanyama appeared like he's making a lot of money, the government came in and added tax to the money, the incomes that they make in the UK. You see, Wanyama had to even start. I don't know if right now he comes to Kenya openly the way he used to.
No.
He's even
Wanyama
staying.
is not taking place in Harambee Stars competition. He said
That's what I'm
that
saying.
his time
He's in
is off.
America. He's in America right now, eating his pension and eating his retirement in peace, because the government then did not want to support football as an industry that will give jobs to youth. So I think in Ivory Coast, the difference between us and them is that they invested in football early. If we prepare ourselves and invest in more than 11 stadiums, I tell you, Boniface, we are capable of hosting even a World Cup tournament. If we are to build 11 standard stadiums, the same way we have, if we have 11 stadiums like Talanta Stadium, we are going to have even a chance to even bid for World Cup in the future. It doesn't have to be 2032. It doesn't have to be 2040. We can even bid for World Cup in 2050. You see, so it doesn't matter that. But we start investing now and build academies and build football from scratch. Start training our children from age 5. Start mentoring those kids from age 3 and giving them football knowledge. You see, we are going to have a football industry running like UK. UK, I told you here before, in Europe, I don't know how they hacked it, but most of the economies is run by football. In France, I don't know, Serie A or Ligue 1 is running the economy there. You go to Bundesliga in Germany, besides Mercedes and these other fancy cars, the football industry in Germany is running German economy. In Kenya, the people that are the teachers, the doctors, and these mamambogas are the people who are running the economy. We have not empowered our young people to use their talents well. That's why in this Talanta Stadium and this Talanta Hela story that the government is trying to push ahead, I hope that this Talanta stuff is going to be taken seriously and they are going to do the job that is required so that we can even get a chance of hosting this tournament on our own. We don't need to rely on our neighbors to host.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vincent. And what I can say is that when it comes to AFCON 2027, we need to take a lot of initiatives so that we can make sure that our country is not ashamed. Because if we get any loop, that is going to affect us for centuries, and that is going to be a very bad thing to our sports industry. It is now on the hands of CS Abab Namwamba to make sure that the job he was given by William Samuel Ruto is in the right order, to make sure that the sports industry runs smoothly, because we need to make sure that we are there in AFCON 2027. We are always struggling to join AFCON. We can see now the next match for AFCON qualification, we are facing the Ivory Coast. And we saw how these giants were playing when it comes to AFCON that took place some months ago. So I don't think whether the kind of players we have, Michael Lunga, we have Benson Omala, we also have Okumu and Patrick Matas there. Are they able to win? Again, they have the confidence. So what we need is qualification for AFCON that is going to take place 2025.
We are not going to host. We are not hosting AFCON to win it. And let me tell you, these people have not seen what Kenyans are capable of. Let me tell you the reason why I believe that the president wants to bring this FIFA story into Kenya. Is because, Kenyans are people when it comes to defending our own. We do it passionately, like we do it more than any other country in Africa. It's going to be, let me say, a stampede if the structures are not put in place and the police are not aligned so well. The people are going to clog the stadium. If the contractor is listening to me right now, let him build a very, very strong stadium, because the Kenyans will stand the whole match. Everything, like even trending this tournament, making it trend worldwide, is going to be like something more than even the World Cup, because the Kenyans are there in social media and their job is to just speak about Kenya, and we will do that passionately if we get a chance to the matches are being aired freely in our TV station. We are going to have one of the most popular tournaments ever in Africa. And that's what I'm telling you, Bonnie, today. We are not going to this tournament because we want to win. We are going to this tournament because we are hosting this tournament because this is one of the ways of marketing our tourism industry as a country. This one way of also putting our name up there in the world, that there is a country called Kenya that also, besides athletics, we have a very, very mature football in the running industry. Besides these cartels running this industry, the likes of Nick Mwendo and others, I think football industry is not that bad. We can try and I'm sure those players that fought for Ivory Coast are not going to be there with that form in 2027. The form is always temporary. We know that, and they will not be as good as they were. Another team is going to come out stronger, and maybe this time around Kenya can even, if we get a chance to go to even round of 16, that is a very, very, very big achievement that we've never achieved for a long time. And we have to fight until we get to the round of 16. And that can only be done if the Kenya will stand in solidarity. The Kenyans will stand in solidarity with their players. We be there and support our teams fully. We be there and shout. We make sure that we are making a lot of noise. You know, those noises threaten their away fans and threaten their away players, and they think they forget to even concentrate on the tactics. That's what we call distraction in football. If you distract a player for a second and we get a chance to progress our passes, we win. And that means that the football, the FKF and the Kenya, I don't know who manages the Kenya national team. They must make sure they get it right in the tactical team. The technical bench must be the best, the team that will see the problems and solve the problems instantly. Because as the fans, we are going to play our part. We are going to make sure that we do our distraction as good as possible. We make sure we use all sorts of words to make sure we distract these other players from concentrating on the match, so that we can use those opportunities and score goals. So I think, Bonnie, we are not playing this AFCON, or we are not hosting this thing to win it. We are hosting it because we want to also showcase what Kenya is capable of.
Thank you so much. I get you. We need to show what Kenya can
And in fact,
do.
in fact,
And
I think the games are starting in a few.
What I can say is that our country need to be serious, because we need to perform up to maximum when it comes to this AFCON. Today we have a lot of matches. By the way, I know Kariobangi Sharks is playing, Tusk FC, we have Shabana is playing there. We have Bidco there playing, KCB, we have the Moroni Youth playing, City Stars. But what I can say is that the Kenya Premier League is going down. We need to improve it, because we have seen Gor Mahia dominating this league for a long time. FC Leopards, after that 60-year celebration, they are still in the number 9-10. They are in the middle of the table. So what I can say is that teams now need to get the full support, because we saw what happened sometimes back, that the teams, they don't have money, the players, they are not paid, and we know that these players have families, and they need to eat, they need to do their basic things. So what I can say is that the government, the CS, they need to support our players, they need to support the teams. The teams need to get the full support, because even the Mathare Slums, the Mathare United, even the Kariobangi Sharks, even the Moroni Youth, they need to get that support, because after that they are going to show what they know about football. They are going to play very well, and after they play very well, then definitely our Premier League is going
Crystal
to
Palace
be
just scored.
run.
Crystal Palace has scored.
What I can say, we are going to come there, Honorable Vincent. Don't worry about it, and you know that things are not going to be easy. And race, our today's headline is race for Premier League table. What I can say is going to be tough. And again, as we finalize on this one, what I can say is that our CS and the entire sports in the country, let's embrace on making sure that our sports industry is on the top notch, because it is only by this that we are going to nurture those talents. But we saw CS above November now. he has been in Barcelona, Spain, for the collaboration between our academies with the Spain academies, and that is one of the good things that happened for sports. And again, I know that we have some talents, that likes of Adrian Kibet, Wanjala, there they are playing, and what I can say is that they are going to make sure that our sports are in top notch, because if they play in those academies, then they are going to be one of good players, and they are going to play for the big teams, that is Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester United, and Manchester City. As we pen down on that, I want us to focus with the Premier League, that is the EPL. EPL is one of the most wanted leagues in the whole world. And when you have the EPL, then definitely you know what happened. And here is Afrique 24. And in Afrique 24, we have a lot of programs that take place. And yesterday, we had the Bed of Roses. And we know that in Bed of Roses, we always have the best ideas. We educate, inform, and also make sure that when it comes to love, then your partner and your couple is in the right order, because here we discuss on what matters that involve love. Make sure you have a date with a Bed of Roses, because in Bed of Roses, here you are going to be educated. You are going to learn more about love.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance. Presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jesse, and Annie Waweru. Bed of Roses promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Afrique 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there.
See you there in Bed of Roses. Make sure you have a date with us. And I want us to discuss on the Premier League. Mr. Vincent, you know that Premier League now, we are in the March 31, and some teams have 29, the others have 30, 31, and now it is the battle for the strongest. And we know that what happened, some big competition happened, and a big match that happened in the middle of the week, and it was like a magic. Actually, whatever I saw there is something that I cannot even explain. But it was a good game. Premier League now, we have Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, and Aston Villa there. What can you see about the Premier League? Because we know that the race now is going to be tougher.
Bonnie, first of all, let me start by saying that I don't know what we men could be doing in the weekends if there was no EPL. I don't know. Personally, I don't know what I could be doing over the weekends if there is no EPL. Like, I don't know. You know, you remember back then when we were in university, what we used to do? Me, you, Joshua Oronyi, and the rest, we used to spend numerous hours watching from EPL and ending up midnight watching La Liga and Serie A. You know, football is something that I call a spirit, because football is a spirit. This thing is one thing that makes people's hearts either hurt or happy, and that heart is happiness to other people. So I believe football is one unifying factor that can never be challenged by anyone. That is why the EPL has stood out as one of the best leagues in the world. And that's why you're seeing everybody is turning their attention to who is winning what. You see? And I tell you, no, in the EPL, sometimes this trophy doesn't matter. The thing that matters is, are you qualifying for Champions League? Because you know, in England, qualifying for that top 4 spot is something that Arsenal has really tried to work on for over 7 years before they got back into the Champions League top 4. So I tell you, Bonnie, the EPL is the best league in the world, and we can never challenge the EPL. And as a Chelsea fan and as a staunch supporter of football, I believe that this football can also become, let me call it something that also can help people mentally. Wanaitanga mental health. I don't know the exact word I can use. Football helps personally. When I'm sad, when I'm bored, I watch the highlights. You see, hata sasa hii ningekugeuzia uangalie TV, I'm watching our replay. I am not getting my eyes off that replay, Man U and Chelsea. That has been the best game of my season. I have never seen a game like that. I have watched that game 10 times. I have watched that 10 times. In fact, Chelsea uploaded it yesterday. I have watched that highlights for since morning yesterday. I watched it the whole day, and I can tell you, football is something that makes people happy. And I personally love football, and I love Chelsea, and I believe that most people who love football the way I do understand what football means to you. Because personally, right now, I am watching the Man City game here as we are speaking, and I cannot feel distracted by anything. But if someone calls me and tells me, let's talk about something, I'm not going to talk about that. But talking about football and watching these football matches every Sunday and Saturday makes me happy. So what was the question? What was the question?
And what I asked is, now we have the race for Premier League. We have Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Aston Villa there. They are competing. Who do you think is going to win this Premier League?
First of all, let me start by who is not going to win, because the winner is not always known. But who is not going to win? That's the question we are going to ask ourselves. Aston Villa is not going to win. That's eliminated from the list. And let me talk about the top 6, because I believe that's a good basis to start from. If we can start from the basic, the team that is let me put the table here so that it can help me move so fast. Yeah, one moment. Table. Yeah. So let me start from number 6. Yeah. The table is here. So number 6, Manchester United, get them off the title. They are out of the title. We cannot dispute that. They cannot even get close to the title. They will not get, with that kind of game that they played over the weekend. They are not getting close to number 1. And how many games remaining? 8 games. 8 games remaining. 8 games. Even if they win all those 8 matches, it's going to be 24 points. 24 plus 48. That is 72, I think. 72 points. Those are going to take them nowhere. They will take them nowhere. So let them forget about the title. The Aston Villa or Tottenham has 57. Unless they win all the matches and Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City loses all the games, they are going to win the title, which is next to impossible. Let's all agree on that. Tottenham is nowhere close to even winning that title. Aston Villa
but Vincent, you cannot underrate Tottenham Hotspurs, because I can see Ange Postecoglou is doing a very good job there in with Madson, Thorne, and Robinson there.
13 points off top. 13 points of number 1, because number 1 has 70 points and you have 57 points. Those are 13 points. Where are you going to get 13 points when you have only 8 games remaining? And maybe in one of those games, you are having Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City and Chelsea playing with you, because we have Tottenham next. Our game was postponed the other day. They have not played with. I don't know. Let me check. Let me check their fixture. You see, Tottenham. No, get them out of that list of possible contenders. They are out, my friend. They are out. Very, very out. I tell you for free. Hiyo hata kila mtu atakubaliana na mimi. Tottenham is out. You see? Yeah, I can see the fixtures.
What
they have
about
Nottingham Forest.
Aston Villa?
They have Tottenham, Nottingham Forest. They have Newcastle. They have Arsenal. They have Chelsea. They have Liverpool. They have Burnley. I think there's a goal somewhere. It's a goal. Man City scored. Man City just scored. So I think from the teams I've read to you, they are not going to beat Liverpool. They are not going to beat us Chelsea. They are not going to beat Arsenal. So forget about the title. If we go to the next team, the next team you asked is Aston Villa. Aston Villa, my friend. Aston Villa is in the same category. It's in the same category with Tottenham. They had 59 points. I think the best they can do is getting a top 4. That's the best they are going to do if they are going to
But
try.
that one will be a big achievement for Unai Emery, because Unai
Yes,
Emery has
that's
been doing a good job.
yeah, that's a very good achievement, and I want them to get that top 4 because Unai Emery from Sevilla, we know his capabilities, especially when playing the Europe Cup. That guy is a magician when it comes to Euro competitions. You saw what he almost did to us when we were playing Sevilla up in the finals of Super Cup. You saw what happened. So I think Aston Villa, they are comfortable with the position they are now, but they must also be very careful because if we can check their fixtures, let me see their fixtures so that we be in order. They have Arsenal next. They have Bournemouth. They have Chelsea. They have I think Chelsea and Liverpool. You see, so if Tottenham manages to win about 6 games from now, and Aston Villa loses the 2 games that I just mentioned here, Arsenal and Chelsea, and maybe probably Liverpool, they are not going to get to top 4. So there is a lot of work to also be done for Aston Villa to maintain that position in top 4. You see, and Manchester City. Manchester City is one team that I tell you will surprise a lot of people. Man City has proved to be a contender from the time Pep Guardiola stepped in Man City. They started being contenders from that moment, and they have created a recent history. The fans of Liverpool and Manchester and Arsenal have that history that we call the forgotten history from our forefathers. You see, that history that I call a rusted history. You see, they enjoy the rusted history of their fathers. But we, the Chelsea fans, the Man City fans, we have maybe for those people in my age can say that they have seen almost the full success of Chelsea because Chelsea's success started in 2003. You see, that's when we started success, and we've been constantly being up there until now. And that's why we have, I think, the most fans in Africa right now, and maybe in America and other countries, we have very, very many fans. I don't know how many, but we are so many. And you saw that on Thursday night. So the Manchester City team cannot be removed out of the list because today they are playing match number 31, and they have 68 points. And if you can look at their fixtures, they have in fact finished contending the top 6. Let's call them the top 6 teams: Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man U, and which one? Yeah, and maybe that Aston Villa, they are maybe done with that. So next they are going. Oh, they have Real Madrid. They have Luton Town, and they have Chelsea. Oh, hiyo ni semi-final yetu, hiyo achana nayo. They have hakuna team hapa bwana. I think the only big team that I don't know is West Ham probably. There's no other big team remaining for Man City. If Man City
is going to win.
No, Man City, if Man City wins all these matches that are remaining, the 7 games that I'm seeing here, West Ham, Fulham, Wolves, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, and then now Luton, my friend, they are winning the league because that's a master stroke. That's a master stroke. If we can look at Liverpool, for example. Liverpool has Man U next, isn't it? They have Man U tomorrow. Liverpool has Man U tomorrow, and I tell you, Man U might. Okay, we beat them, of course. We beat Man U, but at Old Trafford, there's that altitude. We call it the altitude. That home, ile feeling ya kukaa nyumbani. No. Even when the Liverpool fans visit Manchester United or Old Trafford, there's that tension that you get because kuna ile culture ya Old Trafford, we know it, yeah, culture.
Yeah.
So that surrounding itself makes even the players uncomfortable to push the ball. But we know Liverpool are busy fighting for Jurgen Klopp, They are trying to give him
But,
the last honor.
but what I can say before you venture into that match, Vincent, you know that Jurgen Klopp he won that Carabao Cup whereby he defeated Chelsea. And now he came to FA whereby after extra time Manchester United defeated them. I think Jurgen Klopp has this mentality whereby you don't know what is happening in the mind, because now towards the end of this season is going to get out of Liverpool. Do you think Jurgen Klopp can allow Manchester United to win tomorrow after their defeat in FA Cup?
It's not up to him. It's not up to him to decide who wins.
Despite
Man, you can hold them
narrative
a
that
draw.
happened.
Man, you can hold them a draw, my friend. Man, you can push for a draw or push to win the game. You know how they did. You know, Man U is a lazy team. You know that they have lazy players. But when it comes to these rival clubs, you know, Man U and Liverpool have this historical rivalry that we know, and that history can never be written off. Tomorrow you are going to see. I'm not supporting Man U, and I will never do that. But I believe that tomorrow is not going to be a walk in the park for Liverpool, and they have to demonstrate that they are ready to win the title by beating.
But Vincent, we have Liverpool. I personally think that Liverpool cannot allow them to defeat them 2 matches consecutively, because they defeated them in the FA Cup, and we know that the front three of Liverpool is one of the best nowadays in the Premier League, where we have Mohamed Salah, the hard work of Darwin Núñez, and also the Colombian guy there, Lucas. They are doing a good job, and the midfield there is doing a good job. We have the Dominic Zombozlai there is doing a good job, and the defense led by Van Dijk. So what you think Manchester United can hold them a draw?
I'm not disputing the fact that Man U is going to win or to draw. I'm saying that there's a possibility that Man U is going to play a good game tomorrow compared to what they did in the midweek, because we know
and you know that Liverpool is there trying to win the league.
That's the reason why they'll make mistakes, because the confidence of beating Man U is going to also make, you know, football is something that we tunasemanga mpira udunda, and hauwezi jua mpira utadunda wapi kesho, and by going by the fact that I also want Liverpool to win the league, of course, or let me just say that if Liverpool can win, it's okay. But I also wish that this cup could also come to London this time round, but we don't have the powers to pull it to London. The only thing that we believe in, if Liverpool puts on a masterclass tomorrow, and I hope that they beat Man U mercilessly the way we did, I hope that tomorrow is going to be a more humiliation for Manchester United, and I'm praying for more humiliation. I hope they put that masterclass and beat Man U, but it's not going to be a walk in the park. That's my point. It's not going to be an easy win for them. But when they get the opportunities that Chelsea had, I hope that they take those opportunities so serious. They destroy that team completely, because we made silly mistakes as Chelsea, and I can never forgive our players for doing that. We made silly mistakes. The goals that Man U scored were out of the mistakes that we made as Chelsea. But for our goals, we made the goals. We created the chances ourselves. You see, we didn't bank on their mistakes.
What I can say is that what I can say, Honorable Vincent, is that Liverpool is in the race for the winning this league. So whatever will happen tomorrow is going to tell us if Liverpool will be there for the title or not. But Jurgen Klopp, I'm very sure that is going to come there with the full momentum to win this, despite the stereotype of being in home ground. Is going to show them dust, and we will enjoy the football, because we know at the end of the day we need to get the winner. And Liverpool, if they lose the game tomorrow, they are going to be out of the league, because if Arsenal wins and Manchester City wins today, then the race is going to be very tough. So we expect it to be on top. What about Arsenal? Are they going to win the Premier League for the first time since 2003, when some of the supporters were not born?
That's now where we are now. First of all, let me tell you, Arsenal is in a situation I call quagmire, because Arsenal have not won the Champions League in their life. They have not won a Champions League trophy in their career or in their history. They have Bayern Munich next week. They have Brighton tomorrow. I don't know today. Yeah, later today in the evening, 19:30. They have Bayern Munich on Thursday, on Wednesday, and they have Aston Villa in the weekend. So Arsenal is confused whether to seriously compete in the Champions League or to seriously focus on the EPL. That's going to put them in a problematic situation. They are going to be confused on which league to concentrate. You cannot concentrate on both and win unless you are already clear ahead. Right now, Arsenal are in a position where I call a critical position, because right now they win, Liverpool wins, again they go to number 2. Man City will win and they will go to number 3, and then they will win, they come to number 2. You see, so that's the position they are in. And if they lose focus and focuses, maybe they manage to draw to Bayern on Wednesday, and then and then lose or win versus Aston Villa on the weekend, they will try to rest players. If they draw against Bayern on the weekend, by the way, game ya Aston Villa watarest wachezaji sana, so that they get that fight to Bayern. They take that fight to Bayern, you see, and that will cost them a lot in the, because Aston Villa is not going to also kuwabembeleza huko haiwezi. So Arsenal must choose which league they want to win this time around. They just do their best in Champions League, because they are not going to win the Champions League. They will not win that. My friend, this Arsenal team cannot beat Real Madrid. I'm sure Real Madrid is not a good team, but ikupiga Real bana, hata Man City inaenda kujaribu. Real iko form.
Unajua what I can say, Vincent, tunajua Mikel Arteta. By the way, what I can say is that Arsenal are playing a very good game, and it's like they left the trouble for us, Chelsea and Manchester United. Those guys, Arteta is doing a good job.
We are, the guys there. Chelsea is going to determine who wins the league, because we are going to play Arsenal. I think late next month, late this month, we are going to play Arsenal late this month. They have to beat us if they have to win the league, and then they will move from us. They will go to Tottenham. They'll have to beat Tottenham for them to win the league. They'll have to beat Manchester United for them to win the league. You see? So Arsenal has a very, very tight fixture, and I'm not telling you that that's going to be easy for them. Even Chelsea,
but you can see what the kind of players they are doing a good job. The likes of Bukayo Saka, the likes of Martin Odegaard, the likes of they have the best centre backs. By the way, they have the William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, and also the keeper David Raya is doing a good job. And also we have the midfield Declan Rice. Those guys, they can score against Chelsea, Manchester United, Tottenham, and also Bayern Munich. So I don't think whether Arteta has organized the club.
No problem. No problem. It doesn't matter. That's why I've told them they have to pass through Chelsea for them to win the league. We will determine who wins the league, because Arsenal is the only big team in top 3 that is not played against Chelsea. The rest of the teams are played against Chelsea. Liverpool played against us. Man City played against us. Arsenal have to go through Chelsea. Arsenal have to go through Manchester United. And that is not going to be an easy task for them. If Liverpool manages to beat Man U tomorrow, I think Arsenal should forget about the league right now. They should forget about the league.
But today, do you think Arsenal can allow Brighton to score against them?
It's not about allowing. It's about what they will do today in the pitch. If they stick to their game plan, they will defend the goals. That's what matters. In football, you don't decide when you are beaten. In football, you don't.
But what I can say is that that Arsenal team is very composed, organized, and they have the skill. They have everything that entails to score against any team. So any team that is going to face Arsenal, it is going to be tough. And what I can say is that
Chelsea and Man U are going to I bank.
So you want to see that Arsenal is not likely to win the Premier League?
No, Arsenal is number 2. You see, Liverpool is number 1 right now. Man City is number 3. But what is the difference in the points? 2 points. 2 points are differentiating between the 3 teams. You see? So, if, as I said, if Arsenal manages to beat Chelsea, If Arsenal manages to beat Tottenham, those are two derbies. If it manages to beat Everton, that's another derby. And if it manages to beat Manchester United, that is going to give them a chance. Look, like Arsenal haifai kupoteza. Acha nitumie Kiswahili. Arsenal kwa mipira yote imebaki 8, lazima washinde yote. Hakuna ati sasa ati Man U imetupiga tutashinda hii. No, that's what I'm telling you. No, it's not easy. Okay, yeah, if everybody is able of beating the other one. You know, you don't know if tomorrow they are going to get injuries. You don't know if the player is going to be red carded. The critical player in their team is going to get a red card. So you don't plan for tomorrow. They have to stay on course and try to be as disciplined as possible for them to win the league. You saw what happened to Chelsea when we last won the league in 2016. I don't know, it's 2017 when we won the league with Conte, the last league that we ever won. That time we were at our best and we were so organized and disciplined, and we had a squad depth. Hazard anatoka, unaona Willian ameingia. Nani anatoka, unaona Oscar, nani ameingia, this other guy from Spain, Pedro. Alafu akitoka, we have another one. We have Batshuayi. We had a squad depth. We had the best defense ever. You see? That's the time we beat Man City home and away. That's the time we beat Manchester United 4-1. That's the time we beat Arsenal home and away. So, for them to win this league, you saw what happened when we were formless last year, October. We managed to score 2 goals past them. And we made a blunder and they scored 1. The goal that Declan Rice scored. So, Chelsea is not a walk in the park. And you know Chelsea and Arsenal have that rivalry.
Okay, I get you. So, Arsenal, unless they get serious with the remaining games,
and unless they win past Chelsea, Manchester, and Tottenham, they are not winning the league. Unless they do those 3 things. That is my.
I get you, Vincent.
Boni, mimi na wewe, nini watu wa London? Sisi ni watu wa London. We wish well to our brothers from London, but they must have to win those 3 games for them to be.
But I have a feeling that Arsenal, they are going to pull a very great performance in the remaining matches, starting today, where they are facing Brighton, and also even when they are facing Bayern Munich. I think they are going to win against Bayern.
We are also going for top 4, by the way. Let me tell you. Hata sisi tunaendea top 4.
I want you to answer that question. I want to answer that question where Arsenal they are possibly like they are going to win any match, and also the Champions League. They are going to win the Champions League. They are going to win. Arteta, in Arteta's mind, is like you want to win Premier League and also UEFA Champions League.
Let him forget about the UCL.
Do you think they are going to win against Bayern?
My friend, let me tell you one thing. Bayern Munich might look hopeless. Bayern Munich might look like it's dying. Like Bayern ni Bayern too. Bayern ni Bayern. Bayern, my friend, Bayern. Let me try and show you one of the reason why I believe that Bayern is Bayern, and Bayern cannot be stopped.
Okay, you know, here now we are not trying to look about the history. It's about the current form.
No, history. I'm trying to look at what they are doing now so that we compare. Bayern Munich is number 2. It has 60 points. That does not mean, that means that they are also in the race to win the league also. They have played 27 games. But we know Leverkusen is on form right now. They are in an electric form. You see? But Bayern Munich still has the squad. Ile squad yao bado yuko. Leroy Sané.
But Tuchel gave up with the Bundesliga.
Pardon?
We saw what happened in the last week by Thomas Tuchel gave up with the Bundesliga, and he said that it is now over. May Leverkusen win the Bundesliga for the first time, and
of course,
in the last 2 years,
they are 13 points behind. So, and they are only around 13 games remaining, or 10 games remaining. So it's more like an exercise in futility. They have played their matches with Bayer Leverkusen, both home and away. So what is remaining in Bayern is to just contain number 2 and go for the Champions League. That's why I'm telling you, Bayern Munich have no option other than to contest in the Champions League. You see, and they have to do that passionately. They will do it to
So
the
they are
end.
going to win
And
against
the
Arsenal.
problem with the Champions League is that the moment unapita Bayern, bado unapata either Real Madrid ama Man City. No. Anyway, either way unavuka baiskeli, unagongwa na basi. So
but Man City has not been Man City in the last games has not been a key a problem to make a Arteta side.
Bana, hiyo 0-0 ndio inafanya unaongea hivyo. If they get a chance to face Man City in the Champions League,
I'm not to say, because we saw Trossard missed a chance, Bukayo Saka missed a chance, and also they tried to contain. They contained Man City, and it is not easy to contain Manchester City.
Are you trying to tell me that the 28 shots that Chelsea got to Man U could have gone past the defense and past the goalkeeper? You can't count the missed chances because you're not going to get that chance again next time.
My question is, which title Arsenal is going to win? Premier League
Arsenal
and UEFA?
Arsenal iko kama, unaona ile fisi yenye tuliambiwa tukiwa wadogo ilikuwa inajaribu kuvuka barabara mbili. Ilisikia harufu huku na huku ikajaribu kuvuka barabara. It's in those crossroads. Wako confused because they don't know if next time they'll have the form to get to quarter final.
But that is what those players do. So they don't feel the weight. They can play UEFA, Carabao, FA, they can play Premier League. So they don't feel the pain because that is what they do.
There's something called concentration and fatigue in football. You know, concentration is the reason why you win a final. For example, if right now Arsenal could be around 7 or 5 points clear of top 5 or top line number 1, iko number 1 na iko na 5 points clear, number 2 ako huko chini na 5 points. Hiyo ingewapatia ile confidence that if we qualify past quarters now, we are going to concentrate on Champions League because the Premier League is already booked. But right now, if they try to focus their energy and focus their resources and everything to Champions League, they lose the Premier League. And maybe they lose both because kwa Premier League unajua kunanga finals, lakini kwa Champions League ukifika finals hata kama wewe ni mnoma, mnaenda penalties, your players will waste you. Na utakuwa unaambia nani tulifika finali? Uzi. So I think Arsenal must concentrate on the Premier League because that's one title that they need most. I'm sure they need the Champions League, but I will advise them to concentrate on the league so that will break your curse. If they break the curse of the league, it's going to give them the confidence and the heads up to contest for the Champions League next time. Wajaribu kufanya signings zingine mzuri, wa boost midfield yao, and then they go for and the striking because you also need experience ahead there to win the. Najua uko mbele.
The squad is in form.
For striking. You see that line, front line. The front line needs that experience. You know, Champions League pia in experience. The moment you step in that environment,
Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and Gabriel Martinelli. They are able to score against any team.
They are good players, but have they ever played in the final, in the Champions League final?
It doesn't matter. You have Kobe Mainoo nowadays, who is one of the youngest players, 18 years, and is showing players dust. We also have Lamine Yamal in Barcelona. So it doesn't now tell us how experienced you are, but now it is how skilled you are to play in any competition. So,
my friend, Man City wamekuwa wanoma for 5 years. Man City wamekuwa wanoma kutoka 2016. Lakini when did they win the league? Last year, Zito. After 7 years of contesting for the Champions League.
4 times they have been winning the league.
No, Champions League.
The last, they won it in the last.
We met them in the finals. We met them in the finals. But what happened to them? We beat them. Because why? We have that
there is a
final. Not ile mentality ya kushinda finale. Ile mentality ya kucheza final na kushinda. That's what we had in 2021. We went to that game focused. But Man City was scared because we had beaten them twice. You see? We had beaten them in the, I don't know, Community Shield or FA, and then we had beaten them We had beaten them in the Premier League. So they weren't sure. That's why you saw Guardiola saying this is why Chelsea play so well. They have so many players in the middle and then they have so wide. You remember that thing? That was ile inaitwanga kununua uoga. Unaona? Hiyo ndio the big clubs do to these small clubs. That's why when you know you are going to face Real Madrid in the final, you start shivering because Man City, Real Madrid has experience. They have played in the finals. They know how to win it. They know how to defend and win. You see?
What
So
I can
Arsenal
say,
will have
what I
to
can say
either
is that
focus. Wakifocus kwa
what I
zote
can say is
nakwambia
that
Boni wana lose. Boni,
what I can say is
wakifocus
that
kwa zote mbili, they are losing both of them. I tell you today.
I wish Mikel Arteta all the best with the youngsters there. And again, we saw as we come to the end, we saw the match between Manchester United and Chelsea, and there was
They
a
might,
lot of things that happens. What do you think it is the problem between those two teams? What is the problem in Manchester United?
no, first of all, before I talk about the problem, you know, Chelsea and Manchester United are not small clubs. Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza we must accept. Those are the two clubs that run the Premier League. If you were to get Chelsea and Man U out of the Premier League, the fans, I think half of the fans, half of the world is not going to watch football because those are the teams that matter. Hizo timu mbili ndizo zina run business. Hiyo kitu tunaitanga the business of football. Those are the two teams. Imagine Man City has invested in billions and billions of money. They have invested in players. But who watches their game? And unajua kuna ile kitu tunaitanga TV broadcast. If you see game kama ya leo iko saa ngapi? Saa 9, ndio? Saa 9, but people are not even in a rush to go watch that game. You see? People don't even care. But the moment the Manchester United and Chelsea game or Chelsea is playing a small team somewhere, I even stop whatever I'm doing. People even come to oppose Chelsea. Watu wanakuja kushangilia Chelsea pigwe. You see? That's what we call when you are big, you are big. So Man U and Chelsea run football. Hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza tunafaa to agree. But the downfalls of Man U and Chelsea began when we began this trend of sacking coaches and exchanging coaches and not investing in players like kujenga talent, like invest in talent. We invested in names. We never invested in talent. This is the first time we have tried to invest in talent, by the way. And I'll tell you, Chelsea has really tried to invest in talent. If Kendry Pies was to join Chelsea next year, I think he's coming in 2025, right? Kendry Pies is a talent. Cole Palmer is talent. Noni Madueke is talent. Malo Gusto is pure talent. The same way Manchester United, this Garnacho guy is pure talent. Maino is going to be a very great midfielder. He's going to be the likes of Yaya Toure. If he keeps on going that way, he's going to be a Yaya Toure of Manchester United. You see? But Manchester United will have to scrap off their defense completely because they have no defense. There is no Chelsea
So
has
you're
no
saying,
defense, but Manchester United has no defense.
You are trying to say that Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof,
There's no one
Rafael
there.
Varane.
Hakuna defend hapo. Wan-Bissaka's time ile kuslide sio kudefend. You see
But
what
they have the
Trent
best goalkeeper.
Alexander-Arnold does. Hakuna keeper huko pia. There's no keeper.
They have the best goalkeeper, Andre Onana.
Who has scored amefungwa 51 goals ama 52.
He is in the top of the goalkeepers who have kept clean sheet.
No problem. You can be top. But how many goals has been scored past him? 52 or 53. In your first season, you are conceding 50 something goals. What does that mean?
So the problem of Manchester United is the defense.
But you know, a goalkeeper anafanya kidogo. The work of the goalkeeper is always to cover when it's needed most. But when a player passes the defense and faces the keeper, anything can happen. So it means that the defense has let Onana down, and I hope that the team will invest so well in defense. Bring about technical defenders who are physical. The likes of John Evans. Johnny Evans is a weak.
Rafael Varane, and you know that Casemiro goes back again to defense.
No, that's not his job. Hata wewe unajua kwa FIFA, when you're playing FIFA on your PS, you know that a player is just rated with the position he plays best. That rating does not is not just done magically. They look at the potential and capabilities of how you play in a certain position. If you put Casemiro in defense, he'll concentrate much in passing and trying to showcase that he knows how to control
but we
the
have
ball.
been seeing. I want to tell you this. We know we have been seeing Eric Ten Hag playing a 4-1-4 formation, whereby he's trying to bring back Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes to the defense, so that they can cover any mistakes that is going to happen there. What do you think, Manchester United? The problem is defense. Is it defense or?
Hey, this keeper has pulled a masterclass here. The job of a midfielder is to organize the defense. You saw what happened to Chelsea when Caicedo was removed and Enzo was controlling the defense. We in fact used two defenders from the 75th minute to the 101st minute. Na sijui kama wewe uliona. The only person who was playing defense was Jaloba and Badiashile and Enzo as the central defender. He was a central defender.
We are going to come there. We are going to come there. But so the problem I wanted to get the problem of Manchester.
The problem I'm trying to tell you is that Casemiro is also growing old, and when you grow old, also you become rusty, and your speed reduces drastically. So I believe Casemiro's speed has reduced tragically, and the Man U must look for a young, energetic midfielder. Kama Rice, Caicedo, Enzo. Bruno is growing old also. Yeah, pia ni attacking mindset. As you hold defense, they need a Pogba-like player. You see, so that as you push Wan-Bissaka ahead and you push your left back ahead, there's somebody who is organizing the defense. You see, that's one thing they are lacking, and that's one thing I saw. That's why Dalot was caught offside several times. Alipatwa off guard. Alipatwa off guard mara mingi sana. That's why I wonder why he was not carded. Alikuwa anafaa apewe red card somewhere. No, because when you're playing,
what I can say, that match, the referee was very soft. And when it comes to big competition like that, I think that was the best referee, because when you act so rude and you act so strict on players, then you are going to get a lot of red cards, and that is how you're going to waste that big game. The referee was good, but Manchester United, what I can say is that their defense is trying to have a lot of loops, and that's why the first goal, whereby Malo Gusto ran in the right wing, the players were caught off guard. Maguire was not even aware that Conor Gallagher is there. Even I saw Rafael Varane, he was not even aware. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was trying to mark Mikael Mudryk, but again, he missed that chance. So the first goal for Manchester, where Chelsea scored, the defense now it is the problem, and also they are trying to make sure that the midfield is in the right order. So Manchester, from Vincent, is saying the problem is their midfield is getting hot, the defense is very poor, and that is why the keeper is getting a lot of problems. Who is
but the attack is good. Attacking yao iko best. Attacking
they have Garnacho. Garnacho, they are a very small boy.
Manu is unpredictable, by the way. That's why I tell you, in our game, the attacking was the best. But defensively and midfield, they were very poor. That's why we controlled, we had 440 something passes. And that shows that we controlled much of the game. We had a very higher possession. We had a higher number of shots. We had over 12 corners, and we had most shots. You see, even on target. That shows that Manu midfield kuja nyuma hakuna mtu.
I saw that game, but what I can say is that Chelsea, the goals that Manchester United scored, I saw the goal that was scored by Garnacho. That was a mistake by Moses Caicedo. That was a mistake from Moses Caicedo. And the second goal for Bruno Fernandes, that was a mistake for Enzo Fernandez. That assist from Diogo Dalot, Enzo was the one to fly, and he was there just looking for what to do. But Bruno Fernandes, he got a free header and scored. What do you think is the problem in Chelsea? Because I saw how they played. What is the problem in Chelsea?
Chelsea does not have a problem. Let me tell you. Kitu tuko nayo, we have a very we don't have, by the way, I can't call it a problem. I think we have a crisis. Chelsea in crisis. We don't have a problem. We have a crisis. We have one of the best players in the world right now. Christopher Nkunku is outside injured. Ben Chilwell, our best left back, is outside injured. The best right back in the world right now, Reece James, is out injured. You see, Romeo Lavia, the guy we bought and we expected him to lead our midfield, is the guy who could be organizing our midfield even if he's young. He's out injured. Our forward is crippled because Sterling, who is supposed to be helping us score, is a selfish guy. But he's a good one. I mean, napenda Sterling, but he's a little bit selfish. The attacking is not doing its job. Jackson has really improved, and I urge him to continue that way. And during the preseason, I hope he's going to afanye kazi, ajikaze, afanye training, so that when we start the next season, if we God willing, we sign one more striker to help him, because I feel like Jackson is good when he's playing in this wing side, like he's not a direct number 9. He's maybe we'll be using 2 central strikers, but one is a center forward, one is a striker. That's how Jackson becomes a good striker. If we can put, for example, Nkunku and Jackson, and then we push Palmer to the wing, and then we put maybe Mudryk the low block, and then we now put Palmer in the center. Okay, we put Caicedo and this guy Enzo in the midfield. We are going to have a very good team. But you know, pia select squad ni ngumu kwa Chelsea right now. It's very difficult because sometimes this Gallagher sometimes are unsurprised. Sometimes he plays shit, and then the next time he's playing so good. So the problem with Chelsea is not we don't have so many problems. We don't have a problem that we can write down and say that this is the, we have a crisis. That crisis of injuries. Once we get out of that crisis of injuries, we are going, because the guy like Chukwemeka, my friend, Chukwemeka.
But I think the main problem in Chelsea is the coach Mauricio Pochettino, because the kind of lineup up to now is almost a year. He doesn't have even the best lineup whereby he can be assured that this is the lineup I'm going to start. At times you can see Jackson playing at the wing. At times you can see he is changing players' position. You can see Lewy Colwill playing in the left back, and also he can also change players. Like now you can see Thiago Silva. I don't know, Thiago Silva is fit, but again he is preferring starting Benoit Badiashile instead of Thiago Silva. So the problem here might be the coach, because again we saw what is trying, but again now after the fans complaint, Enzo Fernandez there is trying to play at the back 4. Instead, at times we could saw him playing as the attacking midfielder, and again when Enzo plays at the back 4, then we saw the kind of work he did against Manchester United. The players now they are complaining. Do you think the Mauricio Pochettino is the problem?
No, we can't keep changing coaches, because I feel like as much as we need Pochettino out, by then on Saturday, if you were following my statuses and my tweets, I was tweeting when the game was going on. I felt like I could see the mistakes from outside, but when I was looking at the bench, I could not see a better player than the one who was in the pitch at that moment. The only player I wanted the coach to get out of the pitch is Badiashile. Badiashile is has a lot of flaws.
Then that is the problem.
So, but Silva is also getting old, and we know Silva is
No.
at
You
prime
cannot
age.
say Thiago Silva is getting
Sikia
old.
nikwambie bwana, acha nikwambie. Silva, we need to also mentor younger players, but we need to give Silva time to mentor these players. You know, he's coming out of an injury, and we hope that when he gets back right now, he's going to give us the masterclass that we know Silva for. And we hope that Silva, with his age, is going to mentor these young players. Na ataongeza season moja. I hope he'll add us one more season so that we can continue seeing his masterclass. And I hope that we sign one more central defender that is physical the way Disasi is. Disasi is a good defender, and I like him. I hope that we sign one more defender like Disasi. Amsaidie huko nyuma as we wait for Levi Colwill to heal from the injury, and we wait for Reece James, because I tell you, if we use Reece James, we use Skia hii. If we are to use Reece James as the right central defender, like Akwe towards the right, and then we put Gusto ahead of him, you see, and then we put Disasi as the central defender, and then we put Levi Colwill, and then we put Chilwell on the left, or Cucurella. That's going to be maybe a 5, but normally we know Gusto and James can attack so well, and Chilwell is an attacking defender. So when the two of them are attacking, one of the defenders drops behind. That's the game that Antonio Conte used, and we won the league.
Do you think Reece James can now make Malo Gusto stay in the bench, despite the performance
I think Malo Gusto has proven beyond reasonable doubt that he's a master right back, and he is a good right back. He's just 21 years of age. He's at his, let me say, yeye bado hajamature. He's not mature in that position. He is learning to be one of the best right backs we have, and he's not injury prone. So I believe he's a good compliment for Reece James, and we can't afford to bench that guy. We can't afford
but
to
there's
bench
a there is some things that are taking place. It's like Reece James is going to be sold.
Yeah? Pardon?
Reece James is going to be placed in market the next summer.
No, we are not selling Reece James, my friend. We are not selling him. We will not.
So what I can say? So you are trying to say that the Chelsea is compact. They don't have big problems. That they have just crisis.
We have a problem, but I call that problem a crisis. That crisis can be solved, but not by a coach, but by time. Time will be the reason why we solve our crisis.
But fans, Chelsea, you know Chelsea, it has a lot of fans, and the fans' pressure is getting worse. Fans need to get performance. So when you are saying time, then fans are getting a lot of.
One thing about pressure is that when you must win when it matters. Like sometimes unaweza lose game ya Burnley, but when you beat a team like Man City and you beat Manchester United, our biggest rival, even the fans forget that we lost every game. But then sometimes I mean, as a wing to number 12, when I see we celebrating beating Man U and drawing 4-4 to Manchester City home and away, drawing 1-1, almost beating Arsenal, beating Tottenham 4-1. That shows that Chelsea is a good team. The only problem we have is that we have not built that chemistry that can go on to rival and compete consistently. Yani hatujakuwa na ile tunaitanga consistency. You see, sometimes we are here and then sometimes we are down here. So as a team, we also need to develop that mentality of winning every game, because there's no way we can draw to Burnley, that is the bottom at the league, and then we beat Man U 7 days later. That's inconsistency. So the problem with Chelsea is not the coach. The problem we have is consistency, and building consistency takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You see, when we had the likes of Hazard, Willian, and if we were to add a player, Uliona, when Antonio Conte came, he only signed one player. He signed maybe one midfielder. Alisign Kante, sindio? Alisign Kante. So the structure remained the same, but we added Kante. You see, we brought back David Luiz from PSG. He was our player, but he was a masterclass. We just plucked unplugged John Terry, and we placed in David Luiz. And then at the left back, we just added Alonso to that. You see? So that's how, if you are to build a team, the same way Arteta has done. Arteta started with the team that was there. They added, I don't know, Lacazette. They added Aubameyang. They added, I don't know. And then with time, they started building these young players. Saka, Martinelli. At that time, that's how you mature a player. A player like Palmer right now is shining in a crippled team like Chelsea. So if we continue boosting our team with players and experience, and maybe try to be adding, strengthening the positions.
Who else do you think Chelsea can sign so that he can make the team to be complete?
I think we need a finisher, somebody who finishes the chances. We need someone who will finish the chances that we create. You know, the game like Manchester United, Palmer created 8 chances. Do you know that? 8 chances, and we almost lost.
Who do you think can Chelsea pick?
I like this guy from Sheffield. I don't know if Sheffield or which team. Who you, Tony? Tony is a good player. Tony is a good player. Redford. If we can't get Osimhen, we can go for Tony.
Do you think Tony from Bradford can be the right man so that they can take him from Bradford? But again, there is a competition between Chelsea, Manchester United, and Arsenal. They want to sign Tony. So Tony, but again,
I like him. He's physical, and he has experience in the league. He has played the league. He knows it. He's not injury prone. He's a good guy.
So what I can say is that Chelsea need to get a striker. That is what I can say. But again, we have
one central defender. We need a central defender. We need a defender.
But why did Chelsea sell Kalidou Koulibaly? What do you think?
You know, they were. I don't know what they were thinking. I like ule wangeshikana na disasi tungekuwa sawa. I don't know why they sold him. By the way, I feel so bad.
What I can say is that you know this management that came to Chelsea, this American guy, they came to establish their own players. Now that's why they came and tried to sell all experienced players. The only person who was left behind for Chelsea after winning the Champions League is Reece James, Thiago Silva, and Ben Chilwell. They are only 3. But again, what I can see is that these American guys, they are more concerned with the profit, and that is why they are trying to get any player. We saw how much they took Moses Caicedo, how much they took from Benfica, so that they can sign Enzo Fernandez. But what I can say is that doing a good job there in Chelsea. They are signing good players, but they need to focus with what fans want. They need to change the kind of management they have. Let them bring. Why did they allow the Marino Grafosquia to go? And you know that Marina has been there, and he was the one who was doing the scouting. Why did they allow Peter Cech to go? And Peter Cech was the one who was making sure that the goalkeepers are on top notch. They allowed Eduardo Mendy to go. Now we have this guy Petrovic and also Sanchez. We also bringing back Kepa Arrizabalaga after Real Madrid tried to say that they are not signing him on a permanent deal. But this is what I can say, that Chelsea, they need to be serious. And what the problem in Chelsea is the management. These guys from USA came and removed all the management that had the idea on how Chelsea is run. And that is the basic problem that Chelsea is having.
You know, let me try to compare football, Chelsea management with what is happening in Kenya right now. When the president took over in 2022, he found a collapsed system. Of course, that's the same thing that Egbali and Todi Boheli got when they bought Chelsea. We had just won the Champions League, of course, but we were in a financial crisis, and you know the war in Ukraine and Russia was also pushing for politics. The politics in the UK is the one that destroyed Chelsea. And I will keep on saying that the politics of Russia and Ukraine is the reason why Chelsea is facing the downfall it's facing now. Because since they started fighting the management and the ownership of Chelsea, saying that the money from Chelsea is funding the criminal activities in Ukraine and Russia war, that's when Chelsea's problems began. We could not even fly our planes to go and play matches in the Champions League. We almost, by that's the time when I don't know, Man City gave us a plane for us to go to matches, but we still won the Champions League. So you see, but we were already in a crisis. There are players who are running out of contract and they didn't want to sign contracts. The likes of Rudiger and others. There are players who we had gotten tired of seeing in the pitch. I personally was tired of the way Odoi was getting injured. I was tired of the way Loftus-Cheek was getting injured. Pulisic was one of our best players, but he was injury prone. We didn't need. I didn't want to see such kind of players in our team. As Biliqueta was already old.
But Vincent, you can see now after their exit now in other leagues, they are doing good job. Pulisic has been very electric. Loftus-Cheek has been very sharp and has been doing a good job. Odoi has been there doing a good job.
Even Kismat, they are not getting injuries. Eden Hazard was on form when he was in Chelsea, but when he got to Real Madrid, he became injury prone. Right now, he's retired. So sometimes Kismat huwa ina matter sana. It matters because sometimes the league, kuna league ina kufit. There's a league that fits you well more than one. That's why you need to change the environment for you to adapt to another environment.
But what you see, Antonio Rudiger, he was very good in Chelsea, and again in Real Madrid, is one of the best.
He did not want to sign the contract. He wanted to leave.
No, but you know, there is a time whereby you serve a club.
Do you remember what happened to us when Couture decided to betray us? Do you remember what happened?
Yeah.
Thibaut Couture betrayed Chelsea at the last moment. We didn't have even number two.
You know, I did not take that issue for Tony Rudiger as a betrayal, because every player wants to play in Real Madrid, because Barcelona and Real Madrid are the biggest clubs, are the biggest teams in the whole world.
At what cost? At what cost? That's one thing you need to consider. Let's face the truth here. When Couture was leaving Chelsea, he knew we didn't have keeper number two. That's one thing he was sure of. We didn't have keeper number two.
That is the time that the player wanted to leave.
You don't just want. You don't just want.
When the contract, you know, they are always dealing with their contract.
The only problem is when these players know that they want to leave, they do it behind the management's back. They go negotiate their deals with other teams. Example with Rudiger. Rudiger had already knew he's going to Real Madrid before even his contract ended. The same way Mount did. Mount did the same thing. Mount didn't want to sign the contract. Mount did. That's why the players hate him. He was calling himself a Chelsea boy, and he didn't want to sign the contract. So sometimes you tell these people to go to hell.
They need to play. They need to get experience from other teams.
What experience is Mount getting from United? What experience is he getting from United?
You know, the money there. You know, and again the money he was given. But what I can say, it was a big move for Tony Rudiger to go to Real Madrid. That one I am not even complaining about it.
I complain every day because I feel like he's the one who broke our defense. He's the person who destroyed our defense.
Allow the player to grow. Allow the players to grow.
Yeah. Rudiger was the heart of the defense. What had Real Madrid achieved that Chelsea had not achieved? Madrid has won Champions League, isn't it? Chelsea won the Champions League the same year, and Rudiger decided to leave the same year to a team that we had beaten in the semi-finals. So what does that show? You kutuonesha kidole ya katikati.
So you are trying to say, you are saying Antonio Rudiger, after the contract expired, he was ready to renew the contract so that he can be a Chelsea player for a long time.
He did not want to renew the contract. That's why there was no even negotiation.
There was yes, because I want you to notice this, because there was an order from